So Hari Om to everyone. Hari Om. This is again the second session of the year 2022. And we will get started with the Bhagavad Gita 4th chapter. Thank you to all of you who have joined in. So we will start. Om. 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 Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Kratitam Purana Muninam Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitam Vridavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambatvam anusandadhami Bhagavad Gita bhavatveshinim Namostute Vyasa Vishala Buddhe Pullaravindayata Patra Netra Yena Tvaya Bharata Taila Purnaha Prajwalito Jnanamayah Pradipaha Prapanna Parijataya Totra Vetraikapanaye Jnanamudraya Krishnaya Geetamrutatuhe Namaha. I'm going to chant one shloka which got left out during our last week, full Gita Paranam chanting, which is Sarvopanishado Gavaha Dogda Gopala Nandanaha Partho Vatsasudhir Bhokta Duktam Geetamrutam Mahat Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Braja Aham Tva Sarva Papebhyaha Mokshayishyami Ma Shuchaha. So again, welcome everyone. We are doing the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. This is our second lecture on Bhagavad Gita, the second session, year 2022. So I want to start with just a little bit of a reflection time here. The questions or the thought-provoking questions here are more related to a very general nature, but yet something which we need to think about. And this is, we are starting with, as you know, the Guru Parampara portion here. So I would like to hear from you as to what are your, what is your definition of a guru, and how do you look at this word guru itself? Any thoughts?
Who will guide us in the right path.
Who will guide us in the right path. Wow, Geeta, you are so right on the right on the money, right? So quick. That's right. Who will guide us in the right path? Any other thoughts?
Who removes ignorance?
Who removes ignorance? Very nice. Very nice. Maybe if either Anita or somebody can say, what does the word ignorance really mean to us?
Means something we are mistaking, like what is real, what is unreal, the way we are taking world and worldly things as real. At least, yeah, that's what I think. I'm not sure if that's the right answer.
You are 100% right, Anita. You're 100% right. except you threw in a lot of big words, real, unreal, ignorance and everything. So, I mean, can somebody give me an example of how does this tie into our world itself, what we go through? If you say real and unreal. So do we say that the Omicron is not real? I'm just throwing this open. In that context, how would you say real and unreal to a situation that we're going through today?
Something we are thinking of importance, which is not that important, at least like worldly things. That's what I think.
Good. So in terms of, let's take this example of Omicron, okay? Omicron and COVID. Is that really real or unreal for us?
It is real.
It is real in today's world and we have to deal with it. But it is, we would constitute, I mean, a definition of real and unreal as we would look at it is, unreal is something which doesn't exist, or real. We call real as something, and somebody's thing is not muted, and yeah, perfect. Great. Thank you. So the real is something which exists in all three periods of time. It was there in the past, it is there in the present, and it will be there in the future. Correct? So I know we are deviating away from the question here, which is Guru, but because we said Guru is the one who gives us the ability to see a real versus unreal, that is why we are discussing this question. So real is something that exists in the past, present, and future. And we said in terms of Omicron, or a virus that we're going through, it did not necessarily exist in the past. It is there today. And I don't think Omicron will be there in the future. Maybe a variant will be there in the future, right? So in that sense, it is unreal. So how does that tie in with the word guru then? I know I'm throwing two different things. So on one hand, we are discussing about the transactional reality, whereas Guru is talking about something spiritual. So go ahead, Geeta.
Okay, here the Guru makes us understand between real and unreal.
Correct. They make us understand between real and unreal. They do tell us that we have to deal with something which is the unreal world, like Omicron, right? Which is very important. But they also make us feel that we don't have to get bogged down totally by something like this. We have to take all the precautions. But ultimately, our goal of our life is actually to really understand that real thing, which is our nature, our true nature. If I think of myself as the body, mind, which is what today I look at it, then I think about, oh my God, how is this Omicron going to affect my body, right? But if I look at myself as something else, then I look at my body as the winter clothing that you're wearing today because it's so cold in Michigan, right? So if I think that something is going to affect this jacket of mine, then I take a little different perspective. I have to do what I need to do in order to take care of the jacket, because the jacket is keeping me warm. It is keeping me healthy and everything, which I need a healthy body to evolve. But at the same time, I cannot get too bogged down by it. So that's what the Guru teaches. Does that make sense? Is that so? I just wanted to throw that in the slide because this chapter of chapter 4 is so powerful. It really goes into this knowledge of really who I am. And that is given by the Guru. So this is just a reflection. Now, the second question. We are in COVID time today still, and we do get a lot of knowledge from our books and YouTube, particularly, because it's so nice to just listen to all the lectures and everything. So if that is the case, do we still need a teacher? Any thoughts on this?
Yes, we do need a teacher.
Okay. Why, Minu?
Because
Again,
it's easier with the teacher who lives the what he or she's guiding, and she's living or he's living by it. It's easier for us to follow then all the principles, and then and when we see it, then of course in every step Guru is showing us, like somebody said, to our ignorance about our true nature by pointing out. So it's easier when we see somebody living, or I don't know how to put it. It's just we do need somebody who is walking the path.
Correct.
To guide us.
Can I add something to what Meenu said, Sunitha?
Please.
And what I think is like Guru is like he goes by like a true knowledge, taking the Vedantic way and make us wise to choose like what's the best. And I think like books and YouTube, they are good too, but they are like their perception. That's what I'm thinking. Like, it's not the real and straightforward scriptures knowledge. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know.
Very good. Very good, Madhuri. Yes, you're right. I mean, the Guru, talks from the pramana, what has been laid out. Again, this is the 4th chapter. We have this aspect of how the knowledge is handed down. Yeah, Geeta, you wanted to say something?
Well, the way the reason I think we need a guru is to clarify all those questions and doubts we have.
Very good.
I feel that guru is needed for you because they help you lead to your spiritual journey.
And
You're
they
right.
are living example or two.
To that.
Living example. Yes. And somebody else wanted to say something?
Yeah. One more thing I feel like it's
Kanchana, you're breaking up.
And if you have that guru. Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you.
Still breaking? Okay. Now, what I see is like along with all these examples, everyone will be in the different phase of life and phase of stage of life. And if you have the guru, he is the one who can understand more about you, and he can guide you in the right path and pull you from where you are. When you can listen from the books, read from the books on YouTube, but in person, that might guide you in a way better, faster, or better way compared to going on other paths.
Very good. So don't mistake me when I say books and YouTube. For sure, you need the books and you need the YouTube, no question about it. But you also need a live person to run your doubts. And you also, I think, Kanchana, Pradeep mentioned this about how you can clarify your doubts and everything that is needed. A guru can also push the student a little more. Many times we are like children, just like a parent, you see the child's potential and the parent, pushes the child a little bit to say, hey, you can do this more or whatever. We all tend to become complacent, right? So that is where sometimes when I'm passively listening to something, and if I don't apply my mind immediately and I ask the doubt, that's where we have to go with, having somebody live who can also guide us, right? So anyway, that is just some things in the context of today's world, the way we are in with so much of social media and everything. I just wanted to bring this reflection in the context of also this chapter. Thank you so much. So there is this next question, which we will take it up next week. What are the 3 qualities of a guru which appeals to you, but more importantly from the Shastras, what do they see are the qualities of the guru, which we will do it for next week. So we are in this 4th chapter, and here you will see this aspect of knowledge, which is necessary for us, which is important to guide our action. Third chapter was all about karma yoga, which talked about renunciation, the fruits of action and everything. But here the question in chapter 4 goes into the why. Why do I have to give this renunciation? Why do I have to do this? So the absolute knowledge which is behind it is given here. You see Vedavyasa ji, Maharishi Vedavyasa, the great master, who in Mahabharata has taken us through this beautiful journey on how we can refine ourselves. You know, as a human being, we are already at the pinnacle of creation in the most beautiful being in this universe. But how can I become even better as a human being? That's what we are talking about here. So in the first chapter, how did this journey evolve for us? Well, in the first chapter, our journey evolved by first, looking at from a very selfish point of view, right? We see Arjuna, who was quote unquote selfishly looking at from his point of view on how the people who are connected with him are going to die. So he looks at that and he thinks about, oh, I'm going to lose all these people. That's how he looks at it. So again, the Bhagavad Gita starts from a very high level. In our day-to-day parlance, we don't even think that way. We live today in a world of what is in it for me. All the time we look at it. Either what is in it for me, what is in it for my family, what is in it for my community. That's how we look at it. We don't think about broadly on how we are part of this universe. So that's where Bhagavad Gita starts from. Bhagavad Gita already starts from that chapter. So first chapter was all about selfish action. Then we saw the second chapter, which it gives you a synopsis of the highest knowledge. So, for somebody who is already ready for it, by second chapter, they are done. They don't have to go further on, right? But then Arjuna asked a question in the third chapter. So we saw in third chapter, Krishna explains about this kind of nishkama karma or desireless action. He goes there about how we need to slowly give up our attachment to our result and everything. And then also not just give up, but it is detach and attach. It has to happen, both of them, because again, we are so much into action. If I say that I'm going to give up the result of my action, the question is to whom should I give this? What? To whom? Right? And that's where we come up with that attaching to the higher ideal, attaching to the Lord. So anything and everything, I do it. I see the Lord in every part of this universe, in every being, everywhere. So that detach, attach is the one which is given in the third chapter. So this is how we saw the progress from the 3 chapters. So, and then in chapter 4, now we are interestingly looking at the why, Arjuna is asking this question, okay, you've told me all this, but how do I know all this is true? I don't know this at all, right? So this is where we see Lord Krishna trying to explain that whatever I'm telling you, hey, Arjuna, is not something that is out of my hat, I am actually telling you this because this is the only thing that has existed. When Anita said the Guru shows the aspect between real and unreal, if you think about it, the only thing that actually exists so far is knowledge. Knowledge has not changed at all in all this time that creation has been there, and even before creation. And that's what he's trying to say this. And as an analogy, if you think about it, when we go to a movie, okay, like I'm just putting this thing of a Superman movie here, we see all these big things which attracts our attention, but do we actually pay any attention to the small print. You know, the small print is so very important. This is the thing which tells you who actually wrote the story, who directed it, and everything. So, you know, the proper credits are given for even a movie, right? So why should we not give the credits? So this is why Lord Krishna, you know, is telling Arjuna, all this knowledge has been there, and we need to give credit to the right people. And not only that, he wants to establish sort of a glorification of this knowledge. So we started last week with the very first shloka here, which was, you know, Lord Krishna, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, telling Arjuna, Imam vivasvate yogam proktavan aham avyayam vivasvan manave praha manurikshvaku abravit. So we saw that, you know, Lord Krishna is telling him that I myself gave this knowledge, the knowledge which is referred to as the yogam here. I gave this knowledge to Vivaswan, and here Vivaswan is referring to the sun god. And then he mentions that this knowledge is totally imperishable. It was there in the past, it is there, it is here today, and it will be there in the future. So prokta aham aham avyayam. So avyayam, which is not decay, nothing, right? And people who attended Drigdrisha Vivek will remember this shloka, no deti nastamesh, which is that knowledge which doesn't decay at all, which is ever bright and shining. I think it's shloka number 5 of Drigdrisha Vivek. That's what I was referring to. And this knowledge was given by Vivaswan, then to Manu, and then to Ikshvaku in the lineage of the Ikshvaku Vamsha, you know, the Vamsha of the sun. So now you see the knowledge has been given to all the kings, and the kings, you know, had this knowledge before. Now one may think that, well, they were Kshatriyas, were they qualified for it? No, not really. Everyone had this knowledge, because along with their strength of willpower and everything, they need this knowledge to be successful. So and the reason why it was given to Vivaswan, or the sun god, was because sun god is the most, I think my internet connection is a little unstable here. I just got the message. I hope it's back. It's okay. Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you very much. I love the way that because you keep your video on, I'm able to see and you're able to give me that feedback. Thank you very much. So Vivaswan, sun god, is the biggest, most powerful example of a karma yogi. So there's so much we can learn from sun god, and this is why we have, you know, Aditya Hridayam, which is a beautiful shloka which is praising the glory of the sun, and how much we have to be grateful to sun. I mean, living in Michigan, I know you can see, especially during winter, when you don't have that many sunny days, how much you look forward to summer again, right? So this is really the most powerful thing about sun god. You know, without sun, there is actually no universe. So that is why, you know, the example of sun god is taken here. Again, the example of Manu is given because Manu is the first quote human being who propagated the Dharma Shastras. And then you have Ikshvaku, who is the king, who actually was a ruler of a king, who ruled and, you know, who gave this. So that whole parampara was shown here. Then we spoke about, you cannot hear? Can you hear? Yeah, okay, good. And then about the word yoga, we saw that the word yoga is not hatha yoga. Of course, Hatha Yoga is needed because our body has to be healthy. Without a healthy body, we cannot get this knowledge. Our ears, eyes, everything has to function well. Again, in Amrita Bindu Upanishad, we saw the beautiful Vedic mantra, which was Bhadram Karnepi Shrunuyama Devaha, which is without the right limbs of eyes and everything to see auspiciousness and to study, there is no way we can get. So in that sense, Hatha Yoga is needed. But here, the word yoga refers to knowledge, and which is the knowledge of integration of our mind, intellect, but it is the ultimate knowledge. Now, in order to get this knowledge, we have to be prepared. Mentally, we have to be prepared. So the mental preparation involves basically a purification of our mind. You know, today our mind is cluttered with so much of things. I have to do this, I have to do that, this person told me this. All these thoughts, they come and disturb us when I'm trying to listen to this knowledge that Lord Krishna is giving. So that purification of mind is so very important, but that purification of mind, which happens through karma yoga. Okay. Many times we think, oh, you know, I do all this charity, I do all this work, I work for things, but isn't that enough for me? But the whole idea is even that work that we do as karma yoga is only for purification. And that purification of the mind leads to my mind becoming cleaner. And once the mind is very clean, anything that is told to me, I can get it right away. So that is 2 steps, purification of the mind, and ultimately the knowledge itself need to be down on us. So that is what we see as the word yoga. The other thing which comes in the shloka is about the glorification of knowledge. The fact is, Krishna is telling Arjuna that, hey, you know, the sun god himself received this knowledge. So now you're getting this knowledge. Don't you see you're so lucky to get this knowledge itself? So from that point also, he's trying to show that this knowledge is most powerful. And guess what? Even in the future, if all our Facebooks and Googles and Twitter and Instagrams and everything, they end up having some effect on our brain in such a way that we don't get this knowledge, the knowledge still will be there. And which reminds me of, I just heard about this movie called Social Dilemma. Have any of you heard about it? Apparently it's on Netflix. I'm going to see and watch it, but it is all about the pitfalls, the problems with all the social media, how they're corrupting our brain and everything, and we don't even realize this. Artificial intelligence. Today, you know, Google and everything, they use so much of artificial intelligence. Even as I'm speaking today, I'm sure somebody in Google is listening to this and seeing where is this going. You know, all these things are happening. But does that mean that the knowledge is going to go away? Not really. That knowledge is still very much there. So that's what he's trying to say. So then the question will come about is, why should I know this knowledge? You know, Arjuna could potentially ask, why should I know this knowledge? Okay, this knowledge is there. Well, the whole idea again is going back to what Anita said. You know, today I am so stuck on the fact that I'm Sunitha, I'm this body, and this is the way I don't know. Yeah, now it's okay. I'll have to look into this. Again, it's getting, but you can hear me? Yeah, okay, good. So I have a misunderstanding of who really I am. That's the most fundamental problem. And if only I have a correct understanding, then literally all my problems will end. I need to clearly understand that I'm only a sakshi. I am a witness to everything that is happening. And this aspect of I'm a witness, I can get only when I have understood this knowledge. Stuck a little bit. Yeah, it's back. It's back again. Yeah, good. Thank you, Geeta. So I guess I'll have to have you now every week in this, making sure that you give me this feedback. So this is important, that I totally understand I am that absolute Satchit Ananda, that I am all pervading. I am total happiness. So this is why this knowledge is so very important. And going back to, again, the Guru, it is only the Guru who can really teach me this knowledge. And that is what in Chandogya Upanishad, Acharyavan Purusho Veda is a very beautiful saying, that know that he alone is real one who has a preceptor. That basically it's only a teacher can give me that knowledge. So that's the idea here. So then in the second shloka, we saw this a little bit. We might have chanted, I think last time. Evam parampara praptam imam rajarshayo viduhu sakale neha mahata yogo nashtaf parantapa. So here, I just, for those of you who are in Sanskrit, this visarga here, this two dots, whenever you have the pa following a visarga, you use the fa sound, fa. So it is nashtaf parantapa. Just, I wanted to bring a little bit of the Sanskrit here in terms of pronunciation. So here, again, Krishna is telling Arjuna that this knowledge has been given in succession, parampara, it has been given, and it has many of the rishis knew that. And here he's actually referring to all these kings as the rishis. They were the Raja rishis. And I said last time too about how even, people used to go to King Janaka for the knowledge, because he was a Raja Rishi. Even though he was a king, he was the greatest proponent of Vedanta. And so people used to go to him for that knowledge. But then what happened? What happened now? Is it because of all our social media that we have lost the ability of this knowledge? Is it because we are not transmitting through memory? Because those days people used to chant the Vedas and everything. Now we are, going from books to YouTubes to social media to truncating everything to one line. Have we lost this knowledge? So here again, we see that, right? Even today, for example, companies like IBM, okay? IBM, which was so good in computers, now has lost its appeal, right? So over a period of time, many things do get lost. But then we have to constantly keep at it in order to keep reviving it, right? But what Krishna is trying to say is that not everything is really lost in that way. It may be that for some time things have kind of gone out of our sight, out of our perception, Sa kale neha mahata yogo nashta parantapa. So he's telling him that it looks like everything has been vanished. So how does this happen really? This is why I brought this up. Decline of knowledge. Is really social media responsible here? We see that all these things, whether it is books going out of print or universities, having gone away and all that, is that really happening? In many ways, now my job at Chinmay Vishwavidyapeeth is about how can you revive the ancient knowledge which is there and see the connection of all this knowledge to pretty much everything we do, whether it's economics, law, or knowledge, education, everything. We want to see how we can connect a lot of these things. So things have not really lost as such, but they have gone away because we have become more and more caught up in day-to-day stuff. And we make such a big deal about the problems we face. And again, coming to India, I find that the older generation, the resilience that they have is amazing. We need to build that resilience back in such a way that we can appreciate this knowledge. So any thoughts on that or any questions before I go to the next verse? Okay. So now, then he continues to say, Krishna is trying to tell Arjuna that the knowledge really hasn't died or anything. It is there. And now I want to teach you this knowledge. So let's chant the shloka here. Sa evayam maya tedhya. Sa evayam maya tedhya. Yogah proktah puratanaha. Yogah proktah puratanaha. Bhaktosi me sakha cheti. Bhaktosi me sakha cheti. Rahasyam hyetaduttamam. Rahasyam hyetaduttamam. So he says, Saha eva ayam maya te adya. Adya. Adya means today. I, today, to you, by me. I am, or you can say by me. Maya, to you, te adya saha, that same yoga, that same knowledge, that old knowledge which is there, proktaha puratanaha. Puratanaha, very ancient knowledge. That knowledge I'm teaching you today. So today, to you, by me, that same knowledge, yoga prokta puratanaha. And you can see I have broken it down here too. I, maya, to you, adya yogaha prokta puratanaha. I'm teaching you. Now, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Only to you, Arjuna. Bhaktosi me bhaktaha, among all devotees. Bhaktosi me sakha cha iti. You are a friend. Not only you're a great devotee, but you're also a friend. And let me tell you, this is a great secret. It's a supreme secret. I'm telling you this, So, just like kids, right? I mean, we go around, we say, okay, this is a secret. Don't tell anybody, but after some time you see everybody knows it and you think that nobody knows it, right? So here Krishna is telling about, again, that this is a great secret, and he's telling Arjuna, who is a great bhakta and who is a friend, and he wants to make sure that this knowledge, which is so ancient, still is very, very meaningful in this day and age. So let me ask you a question. Now, why did he really choose Arjuna? He could have chosen Duryodhana, right? I mean, Duryodhana also went to him and he could have given it to him. He could have given it to so many people. Any thoughts on that?
Hariyo.
Unmute.
Yeah. I think Arjun, he surrendered himself to the Lord. He was confused, he was scared, in spite of being such a great archer and such a great, he was very knowledgeable, he was an expert, he was, in spite of all that, he was also very humble, and he was also very, humble, and he accepted Krishna not only as his cousin, his friend, but also someone who will guide him. Not just, he was the charioteer, and also, it was like both subjectively and also in reality, he accepted Krishna as his guide. I think that's the reason Arjuna is his secret, supreme secret, and not Duryodhana. That was what.
Very good, very good. Any other thoughts about why?
It's no way for Duryodhana because of his bad qualities. And Arjuna, the name itself is means the one with Rusitvam, which is straightforwardness.
Right.
So the way he led his life, he followed Dharma Yudhishthira all the time, and he was with Krishna. So, and he surrendered. So with the qualities he had, he is the right person for this knowledge.
Very nice. Yeah, those are very good reasons. But actually, the reasons also extremely simple. Let me just give a very common analogy in today's world. How many of us, when we are working, for example, actually go to a boss and tell him that, what, I can do this job. Why don't you give me this project? Or, I have this capability. I should be getting more money, for example. Or anything else, simple things. Or if there's something wrong in the supermarket or whatever, how many of us take the time to bring it to the attention of the manager? Or even something is not right on your own street, you go to the police and say something. So this whole thing is all about, in a very, very simplistic manner. I mean, I'll come to all the other reasons also, which you all mentioned. But the simple thing is, Arjuna asked Krishna. Arjuna asked Krishna, give me this knowledge. I see I'm suffering here. I have done everything possible, but Shishyasteham Shadimam Tvam Prapannam. Suvarna mentioned that also. He actually, as a disciple, he went to the teacher and said, why don't you teach me this? So Krishna said, wow, this is great. I was looking for someone who would ask me, I'm there to give this knowledge. So the point is, many times the solution to the problems we are facing is actually very easily available for us. But many times what we do is we think we can solve all the problems. In the small, infinite, finite being that we are in this universe, how much can we really solve? There is so much of complexity happening there, right? Even with this Omicron, for example, I have to just take the vaccine, for example. Lord is coming in the form of these vaccines, telling me that I need to take this and protect everybody, right? This is a very simple example I'm giving. But the point is, many times the solution for us is not something that can be done by me, myself. It comes by surrendering. So Arjuna surrendered to Lord Krishna and said, I need this knowledge. I need the solution to solve my problem. So please give it to me. That is one thing. That is actually probably the most important thing. Also, as you all pointed out, Arjuna had the qualities. He had the humility. He had, even though he was so good in everything, he didn't have this knowledge. Had he had this knowledge, he would have been even better. So this is something even for all our kids, right? Today, we live in an age where sometimes the next generation thinks that they know it all. But even for them, this knowledge is such an important thing, which will make them even more better in whatever they do. So Krishna is giving this knowledge to Arjuna because he has all the capability. He had, most important, the humility as a disciple to come to him. So that is why Krishna tells him in the shloka here, you are my devotee. A devotee is one who, the first most important quality is the humility. The humility is very important. Second thing, Lord Krishna is telling Arjuna, you're my friend. Can you be, what a great compliment to Arjuna. Many times we think the Lord is our friend, and we tell, aren't you my friend? Can't you not help me? Like that, we ask, the Lord. But here, Krishna himself is telling Arjuna, you know what? You are my friend. That is why I want to give it to you. So that is the reason why we see Lord Krishna giving the knowledge to Arjuna. Now what do you think about this? Is this knowledge really a secret? And is it really available only to a few select people? I mean, again, this is, in this day and age in society, we see that, a particular class of people or a caste or whatever, only they are eligible for this knowledge. What do you think?
Harvam, this knowledge is available to whoever seeking this. So it is not, even though it's staying as a secret, when the Sishya seeks the knowledge, then only he'll be eligible to get this.
Right. So this is secret because to get this knowledge and for the knowledge to stick within us, we have to become so refined in our personality, right? If you look at the, in terms of, we're all action-oriented people. In self-unfoldment, there's a beautiful chapter called Action. In that, Swami Chinmayananda breaks down people into three classes. He says, people are either laborers, or they are workers, or they are people of achievement. And he says, laborers are those people who are looking only for themselves all the time, worried about, the fact that they're not going to get things. Those are the laborers. Workers are a little more evolved in the sense they now are leaders of societies, and they're looking at how can I progress the society and everything. So people like managers, all that, and community leaders. But then there is an even higher class. And he puts people like Mahatma Gandhi in that class, where they are people of achievement. They have looked at a much higher level of things. So that's how this knowledge is. This knowledge is something that's easily available for people who are so refined in their personalities. So in that sense, it is not a secret from that point, but it is a secret because only few people can access it, are available for it. So that's how this shloka needs to be interpreted. It is not that it is available only for a particular class of people or anything. It is available for everybody and anybody, but I have to refine myself. And that is the idea here. So having said this, now Arjuna, he listens to all that Lord Krishna tells him in this first three shlokas. And he, for the first time, he is like, are you kidding, Krishna? You're telling me that this knowledge was given to the Surya Bhagwan, And then afterwards, all these great kings and everything. But I know that the sun was always there. And you're also telling me that this knowledge was given, like, was available even before the creation itself. You know, I don't get it. I just don't get it. You know, you and I are buddies. And I don't know how many of you know this, but apparently Arjuna and Krishna were, take a guess as to how old they were when they were in this battlefield. What do you think? They
60
were,
years.
yeah, they were 60. They're about 60 years old, you know, and at the age 60, they were considered to be really young. Okay. Which is about the age that some of us are in this thing here, you know. So they were already 60 years. And, you know, so Arjuna is asking, you're 60, I'm 60, but you're saying that you were there way before that. I don't think that is, you know, it's not that I don't believe you. You're my friend and you told me that I'm your Sakha, so I do believe you. But, you know, I do have this question. So he starts off with this. So let's chant the shloka here. Arjuna uvacha aparam bhavato janma param janma vivasvataha kathametatvijaniyam Tvamadau proktavaniti. So he says, Katham, how? So how should I really take what you're saying, you know? Aparam bhavataha janma. You know, you were born much later, around my time, right, Krishna? But param janma vivasvataha. Param, long time ago, you know. Param janma, at that time, you had Vivaswan, whose son was born. So then, you know, that was the thing. So Katham, how do I understand you now? Katham etat vijaniyam. How do I understand that? You taught this yoga in the beginning. Tvam, that is you, Adav, in the beginning, Proktavan. You know, how did you really teach this? You know, I don't get it. You know, you said that you taught to the sun god, and then, but then, you know, who am I looking at you? You know, you must be not the right person. I mean, are you that old? Hey, Krishna, I mean, do you really have a different identity or something like that? You know, how can it be that you actually taught this? So the next few shlokas are very, very powerful. We are going to be actually going into a lot of concepts. It is going to be pretty deep, and but we are going to really understand what does it mean when they say that Paramatma took the avatar of Lord Krishna. What does that mean? And not only that, we're going to really go into, we'll probably try to see if we can do all the 4 shlokas, which is all the way up to, you know, the Paritranaya Sadhunam, Yada Yada Dharmasya, all the shlokas we're going to cover. And I might do everything together and then present each one as a concept about the avatar, why it is one, what is the difference between Ishvara and Jiva, for example. So we will do all that next week. I will stop here. I know it's a few minutes before our time, but in the interest of keeping the concepts together, I want to do that next time. Okay, so we'll stop here. And if anybody has any questions on what we did today or what will come up, please do send it and we can address that as well. But we will take up that question on the Guru next time. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Let me stop.